Hello, it's the latest Aqua Retail lockdown video coming to you today from the banks of the Thames on a, oh yes, there it is, sunny day. I thought that today I would talk on the subject of interviewing. Clearly not something that anybody's about to do much of in the next couple of weeks, but hopefully something there will be plenty of going on once normality is restored. So, first thing when it comes to interviewing is prep. Prep is key. Number one, go to a store. And don't just go to one store, go to two stores. Go to their incredible flagship shop, see where they really invest all their fancy money, but also go to one of their stores that's on one of the secondary high streets. Have a good look and see what it is that they're doing as a brand, where they need to improve. You can see where they want to be from the flagship, you can see where they used to be from the possibly lesser loved store. Have a good look online as well. Make sure that you've really soaked up what the business is all about. Of course, the other thing is to think about who their competitors are. And by that, have a look at who would be their competitor in a slightly higher market, who would be their competitor in a slightly lower market. Make sure you're also thinking about price points, make sure you're thinking about quality. For maximum points, why not be a shopper online? Make a purchase, see how long it takes to come, see what the customer journey feels like, see what the packaging's like when it turns up. These things are really important, and my goodness, will get you some serious points in the interview. The other thing you can do is when you visit the stores, talk to the teams. They're the people that know what's going on. Talk to them about their concerns with stock. Talk to them about how fast the deliveries come in for the new collections, how often those drops happen in the stories as well. These things I think are absolutely key. And of course, here's a likelihood that you have to put your best foot forward when you're having the chat, because they may well phone head office and say, oh, I've just had somebody in who's got an interview. They may know who you are. You may start to get little ticks in the box already at that point. And of course, be sure to drop in the interview that you have done those extra things. Next up would be to prepare a SWOT. Of course, we all know that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Put that together. You could put one copy with a lot of detail on it that you keep for yourself, so that in the interview when you say, I'd like to talk through my SWOT analysis I've prepared as part of my preparation, you can then make sure you don't have one of those kind of like mind blackouts as you're talking through it. Give them a version that maybe has got some visuals on it from their website and more bullet points, and then they can see the level of preparation you've done, they can see how you present your work, all of these things. Again, maximum points. And don't take a SWOT analysis in that's all scrunched up from the bottom of your bag and covered in coffee and lipstick. It's happened and it doesn't look good. So have it in a nice, smart, flat portfolio start folder. Next up is, how do you dress for the interview? Now, of course, that depends on where you're interviewing. If you're interviewing for someone like Laura Ashley or someone like All Saints, you're going to dress very differently to both of those brands. The number one rule is look like you already work there. Allow them to make it really easy. Can I picture this person working in this business? It is that straightforward. Don't wear a suit, it's not banking. Don't wear anything too revealing. Oh, the stories I could tell you. Make sure that you look professional, fashionable, stylish. Add a little bit of pop personality by way of maybe a bag or an interesting necklace. Make sure that you are representing yourself as best you can through the way you dressed. Next up, people always ask me, how early should I arrive for an interview? 5 to 10 minutes. Longer than that, you're just sitting in head office feeling a bit nervous. Of course, also, if you're interviewing for a company that's based in a head office in the middle of Oxford Circus, for example, you're surrounded by shops and retail. Don't then arrive 20 minutes early and then sit in the interview and say, I love shopping, I love fashion, when you prefer to sit in a head office reception than you would go shopping. So make sure that, again, the things you say are shown through your actions, because of course they do get that call from reception as soon as you arrive, and 9 times out of 10, if you're 20 minutes early, they'll be like, why are they so early? So make sure that 5-10 minutes. Don't smoke just before the interview. Don't then cover yourself in perfume and mints. And make sure you don't get drunk the night before as well. Oh, I remember that feedback too. That was a tricky one to try and work out how to feed that back to the candidate. But yes, if you think you maybe might smell of alcohol, then maybe change the date of the interview, or just don't go drinking the night before. The first thing that's going to happen in the interview, of course, is the greeting, and that is the handshake. Now, we are not aiming to break any bones in the old crunching hand department. We're also not looking for slippery little fish. I hate slippery fish, they're really gross, and I also quite like to keep my bones intact on my hand. Somewhere between the two is good. Of course, make sure you don't have a sweaty palm before you do it either. As you shake hands, eye contact, smile. It's really simple, but I can't tell you the amount of merch directors that I've met over the years who still can't get the handshake right. So get a little practice in at home. Your family won't mind if you're doing a bit silly, but it's really important because it is about first impressions. Often an interview start with the question, tell me about yourself. Now, that question is to have a 2 or 3 minute answer. It is not to go on for 45 minutes. Oh, believe me, it's happened. More than one occasion. A little potted history of you. I studied here, I started my career there, I then moved to there. I've worked on women's wear, I've worked on men's wear. I'm looking for something new and exciting in my career. Done. There you go. Doesn't need to go on any further than that. Questions that will come up through the interview, of course, we'll talk about what you're like as a team player. We'll talk about when you disagree with a decision that we've made. Can you perform under pressure? And for heaven's sake, at that point, do not start singing songs by David Bowie and Queen. That is not what they're seeking with that question. On the other hand, shows a bit of personality. Possibly that might be the new thing that everyone does in interviews after today. Remember, you have to get a fine line between blowing your own trumpet and knowing that there is nobody else there to blow your own trumpet. You have to do it. You have to make sure that you are humble enough to refer to my team and I, but equally accept that there comes a point where you have to say what you did, what your achievements were, and make sure at that point that you are putting your best foot forward. The end of the interview will generally be a do you have any questions situation. That point, it's really great to ask what the expansion plans are for the business, what expansion plans there are in terms of the collections as well as the stores, internationally, e-com, artificial intelligence. You know, all of these things are really key in retail at the moment. So they're really great questions to ask. And also, if you have prepared a SWOT analysis and you haven't had a chance to talk through it, that's the point at which to say, oh, I did do some prep ahead of today. Can I talk you through my SWOT? They're not going to say no. They might say we'll take it away with us, which is fine too. But yeah, there's a really good time to do it. It's so frustrating for me when I talk to people after interviews and I say, what do they think of your SWOT? Oh, they didn't really ask for it. No, they're not going to ask for it, are they? It's something you're trying to do extra. So there's your little run through to interviews, a bit of a potted history. There's clearly a hell of a lot more I could say on that subject, but very happy to do so with anybody off interviewing over the coming months. You know how to find me, mary@aquaretail.co.uk, and yeah, as ever, stay safe, stay well, stay indoors, etc., etc. You know the drill. See you soon. Bye.